On March 14th, 1838, a woman walked into the sheriff's office in Natchez, Mississippi, carrying a tale that would haunt every person who heard it for decades. Her name was Abigail Turner, and she confessed to murder, not one, but 7. Sheriff Henry Dalton was eating his lunch, a simple meal of bread and cheese packed by his wife, when she entered. He was alone, his deputy out investigating a property dispute. The door opened without a knock, and Dalton looked up to see a thin woman, unnaturally pale, as if she spent too much time indoors. Her plain gray cotton dress was clean but worn, like a servant's garment. Her hair was pulled back severely, not a strand out of place, but it was her eyes that stopped him mid-bite. They were empty, like dark wells, bottomless and void of emotion. "I need to confess," she said, her voice flat and emotionless. "I've murdered 7 people." Sheriff Dalton, sheriff of Adams County for 15 years, had seen drunks, thieves, hangings, and killings. He considered himself unshakable, but her calm delivery made his skin crawl. "Ma'am," said Dalton, hand inching toward his pistol, "sit down and tell me what you're talking about." She glided to the chair opposite his desk, sitting with perfect posture, hands folded, eyes fixed on nothing. "My name is Abigail Turner," she began, and for 2 hours she spoke without pause or emotion, detailing how she had poisoned the Fairmont family over 11 months. The Fairmonts were one of the wealthiest plantation families in the county, known for their cotton empire and social standing. She named them: Marcus, the patriarch, 48, Catherine, his wife, 45, children Thomas, 29 and newly married, Jonathan, 27, Elizabeth, 24, young James, 7, and Sarah, Thomas's wife, 26. She knew their habits intimately. Marcus took coffee with 2 sugars and cream at 7 a.m. Catherine drank tea for headaches before bed. Thomas snacked late while studying law. James sneaked cookies. She described poisoning them with small doses of pokeweed root, white snake root, oleander, water hemlock, autumn crocus, and occasional arsenic from rat poison. Plant-based toxins mimicked natural illnesses, stomach aches, fevers, building tolerance while increasing dosage. "The body adapts," she explained, like a recipe. "Symptoms decrease as poison weaves into blood and bones." "Why?" asked Dalton, horrified by her precision. "Something unforgivable," she replied, a flicker in her eyes. "Pain, rage, grief. So have I." She detailed the family's recurring illnesses, baffling Dr. Samuel Hewitt. The final dinner on March 10th, roasted chicken with herb gravy laced with a lethal concentration, potatoes, vegetables, peach cobbler. They complemented the meal, retired content, and died by morning. She spent 2 days with the bodies, washing them, dressing them, telling them why. Then she cleaned, disposed of evidence, and confessed to record it. Dalton stared, shaken. This confession was detailed, but impossible? He sent deputies to the Fairmont estate. They found the family alive, healthy, bewildered. The plantation was a Greek revival mansion on 300 acres overlooking the Mississippi. Dalton had visited socially. The Fairmonts were respected. He rode out with deputies Tom Crawford and Billy Mason. "You think she killed them?" asked Tom. "She believes she did," replied Dalton. The house looked normal. Smoke from the chimney. Marcus answered, alive, annoyed, whiskey in hand. Dalton explained the confession. Marcus frowned, inviting them in. The family was dining. Catherine, elegant, children arranged, all alive. "Abigail Turner," Dalton said. The room tensed, fear, guilt. "She no longer works here," Catherine said, tightly. "Dismissed for theft 2 days ago," Marcus added. But Abigail hadn't mentioned theft. Dalton asked about illnesses. Silence. Then Thomas admitted recurring stomach ailments, fevers, treated by Hewitt. Last episode, March 12th. Dalton revealed the confession. No outrage. Fear deepened. "Insane," Marcus said weakly. "We're alive." "She was detailed," Dalton pressed. "Knew your habits, illnesses." Catherine called her deranged, eyes, movements, references from Louisiana's Beaumonts. But Dalton sensed lies. Marcus dismissed them coldly. No crime, no cooperation. Back at the office, Abigail sat, staring. "They're alive," Dalton said. "I know." "You lied." "No, I misunderstood. I poisoned them slowly. Death takes time, planted like a seed. Everyone dies. I determined how and when." She detailed future deaths: Marcus's heart failure in 20-30 years from arsenic, Catherine's madness from hemlock, Thomas's crippling from pokeweed, Jonathan's tumors, Elizabeth's numbness from crocus, Sarah's infertility, James's suffering, poisoned blood passed to descendants, withering the line. "Madness," Dalton said. "I've studied poisons, every dose calculated." "Why?" "Ask them. They bury crimes." She said no more. Dalton investigated Abigail's background. No records before April 1837. Beaumonts unknown. She materialized. He returned to question staff early morning. In the kitchen, Ruth, a young black woman, answered nervously. "Abigail wasn't right," Ruth whispered. "Watching, calculating. Hired suddenly April last year. Silent, ghostly. Family illnesses started after her arrival. Abigail attentive when sick. Ruth saw her mixing in the herb pantry late, claiming medicine, but suspicious." "Hannah?" Dalton asked. Ruth paled. "Hannah, her friend, died March 37, sick, wasted away, buried quickly." Ruth feared more. Hannah had an older sister sold away young. Abigail resembled her. Same eyes, movements. Voices approached. Ruth urged him to leave. Dr. Hewitt's office smelled of acid and ether. He showed Fairmont records, illnesses from May 1837, matching Abigail's timeline: cramping, fever, nausea. Baffled, tested everything, no cause. Stopped after March 12th. Abigail's poisons would produce those symptoms, Hewitt confirmed. Chronic exposure could cause delayed damage years later. "Prove it?" Dalton asked. "Can't without bodies. Wait for patterns." Dalton documented everything: confession, records, testimonies. Locked it away. Next morning, file gone. Theft targeted. Fairmont's. Hewitt's records stolen too. They were erasing evidence. Why hide if victims? Hannah. Ruth dismissed for theft. Dalton searched. A young man delivered her letter. Hannah, 17, abused by Marcus, Thomas, Jonathan. Catherine dismissed her pleas. Pregnant, given medicine to abort. Went wrong, bled agonizingly 3 weeks, died, buried quietly. Abigail, Hannah's sister, returned, learned truth, stayed to poison slowly. Staff suspected, silent, deserved. Dalton couldn't prosecute Fairmont's, law ignored slave abuse. Abigail sought justice law couldn't provide. Abigail committed quickly to Jackson Asylum. Dalton attended. Doctors called her delusional. Fairmont smiled satisfied. Before leaving, Abigail whispered, 23 years. Remember 23. Dalton journaled privately, 1861. Years passed. Dalton watched Fairmont's thrive initially, but subtly decline. 1842. Thomas shook, spasms weakened. Hewitt, nervous system failing, possible delayed poison. Wheelchair 1846, bedridden 1848, died paralyzed at 39, 10 years post-confession, matched Abigail. Elizabeth married 1845, felt fading, numb emotions, sensations. Marriage annulled, returned hollow. Died 1851, failure to thrive, matched Crocus. Catherine, paranoid 1849, hallucinations, haunted by Hannah. Committed 1852, died 1854, screaming, matched Hemlock. Jonathan, tumors 1853, died 31 months later, matched cellular damage. Sarah miscarried 4 malformed fetuses, died 1857, fifth, matched wound damage. Marcus aged rapidly, heart issues mid-60s, died 1868, cardiac failure in study, matched arsenic. 7 dead, predictions eerie. 1861, 23 years. Asylum burned, records lost. Administrator, no trace of Abigail. Orderly remembered, silent, staring. Escaped after 3 years, faked death. Rumors, sightings region-wide. James survived longest, but suffered. Estate decayed post-war. Wives died young, children infirm, died early. Line dwindled. Chronic issues 40s, aged prematurely, died 1891 at 60. Dalton retired 1873, journaled 3 volumes, deaths, records, testimonies, accuracies. 1875, Hannah's grave tended, flowers planted. Note from Abigail, confessed to record before erasure. Knew Dalton would remember. Escape planned. Watched, visited each before death, revealed truth. No regret for avenging Hannah, but weighed child James. Work done, line extinct. Tired, gone. Dalton added to journal, truth preserved. Justice or murder, let history judge. Dalton died 1876. Daughter donated journals to Historical Society. They sit archived, dismissed often as obsession. But records exist, confession, timelines, deaths matching. Fairmont's gone, forgotten. Hannah's grave remains, marker simple. Truths ambiguous, poison or conscience, murder or justice, Abigail killer or avenger. Question lingers, documented, waiting confrontation.